The moment Zegion stepped into the battlefield, the air stopped breathing. Not metaphorically, it felt like reality itself paused to consider whether it still wanted to exist. His presence wasn't loud, flashy, or dramatic. It was quiet, absolute. The kind of power that doesn't need to speak because everything in its vicinity already knows what it means. And Deeno, proud, lazy, irreverent Deeno, felt something he hadn't felt in a very, very long time. Regret. His first words weren't war cries or threats. They were a tired, frustrated complaint, the sort that slips out when your whole world tips upside down. I really wish people would stop joking with me. That was the sound of a man who had just realized he'd been outplayed from the beginning. What he thought was a fun, convenient victory, a kidnapping mission wrapped in a casual skirmish, had always been a strategy, a net, a trap laid with perfect patience by Rimuru himself. Every technique Deeno used, every card he revealed, every mistake Ramirez seemed to make, none of it had been random. He had danced proudly and unknowingly inside a cage that had been built around him, one brick at a time. When Ramirez's image dissolved into butterflies of light, when he understood she had never been there at all, humiliation cut deeper than any blade. Deeno, the master of hypnosis, deception, and spiritual manipulation, had spent the entire time negotiating with an illusion. Zegion had abducted Ramirez and left a phantom so perfect that even an ultimate skill user didn't notice the switch. The irony was cruel. The slothful demon lord who prided himself on reading through people's tricks had been tricked himself. His mind clung to one explanation: evolution. Zegion wasn't just the monster of brute strength and unstoppable defense that the world once knew. His Mist Lord aura pulsed with a transcendence beyond physical form. Something greater, something divine. And for the first time, Deeno understood the true implications of Rimuru's evolution ceremony. Rimuru wasn't just empowering his people, he was raising them to his level. How can those serving Rimuru reach the same levels that he has? That's just cheating way too much. Even Guy Crimson, the ancient demon lord, the unbeatable cornerstone of the world, couldn't elevate his followers like this. But Rimuru? He had primals serving him like knights. He had subordinates with ultimate skills. He had monsters evolving into beings who eclipsed the realm of gods. And he treated it like nothing special. Zegion didn't brag, didn't posture, didn't even look angry. That was the worst part. Indifference from something strong enough to crush you is more terrifying than hatred. Deeno tried to cling to his attitude. Sarcasm, mockery, selective laziness. It was his armor. You were hiding here, watching until I revealed my secrets, huh? Come the hell on, man. That's dirty. And Zegion answered without emotion, without hesitation. Ha, it's called war. In that moment, everything shifted. Run? Impossible. Negotiate? Meaningless. Work? Even worse. So Deeno did the one thing left to do. He fought. He unleashed Fallen Strike, the evolved manifestation of slothful despair. A technique designed not merely to kill bodies, but to erode souls. A fusion of physical destruction and a psychic wave of negativity so corrosive that even ultimate beings had collapsed under its weight. It was the kind of attack Deeno didn't like using. Not because of morality, but because of effort. Take this and breathe your last, Fallen Strike! And then Zegion did something no one should be capable of doing. He reached out and he caught the god-class sword, Fang Smasher, with one arm, barehanded, not a stumble. Not a flinch, not a crack in his armor. Silence followed. Deeno waited for something. Pain, blood, delayed recoil, anything that resembled vulnerability. Instead, Zegion spoke with a calmness that shredded every drop of confidence left. Let me ask you, does your attack have a delayed effect? Because otherwise, did you think a passing breeze like that strike could defeat me? That wasn't banter. That was judgment. Zegion didn't just withstand Deeno's strongest attack, he invalidated it. The shock wasn't about losing. It was about realizing the fight had never been close. Deeno's greatest killing blow didn't simply fail. It never even reached Zegion's real self. Deeno's trump card, Fallen Thanatos, came next. A spiritual execution technique capable of striking the true soul. Normally, a guaranteed kill. Even opponents whose bodies and minds were shielded still fell to it. But Zegion didn't react. He didn't blink. He didn't acknowledge it had happened. His voice came cold and matter-of-fact. You were wondering if I possessed an ultimate skill, weren't you? You need to realize that your laziness cost you the victory. And then came the punishment. 5 beams of condensed dimensional annihilation, Dimension Ray, tore through the battlefield without warning. Deeno moved on pure instinct. He lived only because he was fast enough to leap aside before his consciousness caught up. He looked down. His right arm wasn't there, and Zegion, with emotionless clarity, delivered the final revelation. I am an illusion, a ghost. From the very beginning, you were wrapped around my finger. I am the Mist Lord, ruler of the Phantom Realm. No spirit attacks can faze me. In that instant, even the panic couldn't hide the truth. Zegion's evolution had removed him from the metaphysical food chain. He wasn't bound to the physical plane. He wasn't vulnerable to spiritual interference. He existed in a state beyond both, untouchable. The slothful demon lord who had always complained about work suddenly understood the sharpest lesson of his life. Laziness isn't strategy. Not when the enemy has already thought 10 steps ahead. The next attack wasn't a spell, it was a sentence. Say your prayers. You have touched the nether reaches of sin. Dimension storm! Space convulsed. The labyrinth screamed. And Deeno's existence was shredded into nothing. Body gone, soul erased, thought silenced, a perfect death. And then, darkness broke. The surface of the labyrinth filled his vision. The air was cold. The world, real. He was alive. In his hand lay his salvation, the cracked remains of Ramirez's bargain bin resurrection bracelet. The kind you kept only if you were lazy enough to not want to die for real. He laughed. Not joy, not triumph, just exhaustion. Phew, I won the bet, huh? He had survived because of the very fairy he had come to kidnap. He had underestimated Rimuru's people. He had underestimated the labyrinth. He had underestimated everything that made Tempest what it was. He contacted Zerario in a thought transmission, voice heavy with defeat. Cornu was dead. Velgrind had turned on Feldway. The invasion was broken. The smartest choice now was retreat. Anything else meant annihilation. Deeno didn't hate the labyrinth. That was the problem. Life there had been easy, peaceful, slow in a way he liked. Talking with Vester, chatting with Gabil, working on projects without urgency or conflict. For someone who hated effort, Tempest had been paradise. He threw it away. Now he couldn't go back. And that hurt more than Zegion's attack. When Deeno reunited with his allies, chaos had devolved into stalemate. Geld, the gentle giant, was matching Garasha blow for blow. Their strength was equal. His regeneration made her precision meaningless, and her fury only grew. None of my attacks is even phasing you. Are you crazy or something? Geld only smiled, calm and earnest. Above them, Kumara and Pico clashed in a storm of thunder and razor tails. Two monsters whose pride demanded nothing less than perfection. Equal strength, equal will. Deeno watched all of it collapse into one obvious, undeniable truth. Everyone in this damn country is just totally insane! Tempest's defenders weren't simply strong, they were monstrously strong. Stronger than the top Seraphim, stronger than the best the Angel Army could offer. And none of them were even Rimuru's strongest. For beings built to conquer worlds, admitting defeat was bitter. Pico snarled, Garasha rejected the retreat, and both insisted that Faye's plan was flawless. But Deeno crushed the denial with the one fact no one could ignore. Cornu was gone. The labyrinth had been lost. Their strongest were outmatched. There was no point fighting, and slowly, painfully, they accepted it. Not with hatred, but with respect. Geld told Garasha, "Next time, I want to take you on at your full force." She smirked. "Now you're speaking my language." Even Kumara and Pico parted with insults that sounded suspiciously like admiration. The war was over. The mission was a failure. But dignity barely survived. And as Deeno walked away from the labyrinth, the only place he ever actually felt at home, the weight of the truth settled in his chest. He hadn't just lost a battle, he had lost a life he never truly appreciated while he had it. Zegion's overwhelming strength wasn't the real defeat. The real defeat was knowing that Rimuru's world could have been his sanctuary, and now he could never return. The slothful demon lord did what he always did. He kept walking, grumbling, pretending not to care. But this time, the act was thin. For the first time in a long time, laziness hurt, because effort wouldn't have been a burden. Not in that world, not with those people, not in the labyrinth he had betrayed. And that sting, not the dimension storm, was what destroyed him most.